everybody. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hot Topics, the show. This is Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, where I talk about depression, anxiety, and PTSD in a holistic way, a natural way, and a realistic way to help you to feel better. I'm also a public speaker that I just graduated for London Rio Academy, and my mission is to help and to go speaking around the world to people that have issues, that have problems, and be able to connect and help others through our stories. And next to me, I have my beautiful co-host.
I'm Kia Baker. If you don't already know, I am the creator and host of the Female Veterans Podcast, as well as the in production series, Women Warrior Stories for the Veterans Channel at theveteranschannel.com. And I am also a success coach at London Real Academy. And I'm happy to be here. How are you, my love?
I'm very good too. I feel wonderful today. I was under the weather like for the past 2 days. My menopause bothers me, a little bit of fibromyalgia, and a little bit about my colon. So it's like a mix.
You got a lot going on. No, but I feel you actually. I was so busy last week doing stuff with some of the courses at London Real that I had a fibromyalgia episode. And so for this part of the week, I have been so tired, so tired. And I usually have been working out every day. But this week, I have not been able to work out at all. So I'm just listening to my body. So,
Yeah.
yes.
And you know what, Kia, also that right now is so disgusting to just go and put the TV on or look into social media. I am a person that educate myself. I read about a lot. I put my mind in neutral to be able to absorb all this information. And sometimes I get it. I get into, oh my God, like into the worry phase. And I said, oh my God, I can imagine the older people out there that they are like absorbing this and believing everything what they said, and it's like it's like this time is very tough for everybody. I don't think this is a easy moment for anybody. I think it's hard. What do you think about that, Kia?
Well, I know that you said before you were watching both news, which I love, especially during an election year. I do it for fun because I
Yes.
love to see the lies, like
Yeah, you have to.
because it's a good mix. No matter
Yeah.
which news program you look at, like if you look at conservative news or conservative, liberal, whatever, you look at those news programs and you see the spin on each of what they want the public to believe. And I think we have Roger Ailes to thank for that, who felt like news should be more like a reality show. And so that's what we get. So I think everyone has to, I mean, if you don't watch both, you can become a victim of groupthink.
Yes.
And you can only see things one way. But if you watch both, so like if you watch Fox News or CNN, you watch them both, you see the vast difference in the stories that they're telling and what they're targeting. And I think it makes you more aware of how the news media tries to play the general public. So that's how I look at it. I try to be aware. I don't watch both of those anymore. I did that during the last election cycle and it was like had me nearly crazy. So I just don't watch both anymore. I try to keep up to date on what's going on at a minimum of what they're telling me. I even limit social media now because they're also infiltrated social media and they're
Yes.
using spin techniques and fake videos and stuff. So it's really hard to know what to believe. So just have to stand on what I think is right and go and use my own discernment and go from there. That's what I think.
And you know what also they do, and I want people to know this, like when they put articles in social media, sometimes those articles are not true. And sometimes when you make a comment, say that's not true, there's a lot of hate coming towards you, and telling you everything like I hate. And in one of those posts I said, why we are engaging in this hate where we don't even know if this article is true. I'm here to be aware, to make you guys aware that it's not the A or the B or the C. If you need to look everything in a whole and make the right decision. And this is the perfect time to see both sides, because sometimes when you just focus on one side, you just only see one side, and that's not like you just said. But when you focus on both sides, you can see through a lot of lies, and you can also see through a lot of truth. But you also need to be open. You cannot be like all your life this way or this way. This is the time of changing. This is the time that we need to be united and see, okay, what is going on? And a lot of people say, oh, this is always the same. Oh, of course it's the same, because we are not making changes. And it's the same of the same. And now it's worse, because right now it's vicious. Now it's like, I don't know. It's a weird energy right now. I don't think
It
it was.
is.
I don't think it was before. Before it was worse. This one is the worst of the worst, I would say.
I definitely feel like sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better.
Yes.
But my stance is always united we stand. You know that, united we
Yes.
stand. So um, that's how I feel. So our boy is here,
Yeah.
and
Tendai.
he has a couple. Yep, Tendai. He has a couple of comments, and I want to just say thank you so much for your kind words about the fibromyalgia. I appreciate that, and I hope your toothache feels better for real. That sucks, believe me.
Oh
I get them.
yeah.
Oh,
That
it
hurts.
is. That's the worst feeling, with pain in your mouth. I don't know, or
Ugh.
kidneys. Those two,
Or
and
ear. Or ear.
yeah, or earache, the worst. And he says that this time frame sucks. This is not our normal time frame. We came on this day because I had a lot of meetings earlier this morning, so we wanted to still come live. So this is what time we came. We usually come earlier in the afternoon on Wednesdays to accommodate our European guests. And on Thursdays, that's our normal time slot at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So, but we appreciate you for tuning in.
Yeah.
You're our boy. So,
So Kira,
anyway, yes.
because we know we are going through difficult times, it's very good to have a simple life.
Yes, I agree with you. And we have a guest today, and she is amazing. I have the privilege of having met her at London Real, and now she is London Real staff as well. So I get to work with her all the time. She's an amazing gift to the establishment. Not only that, while she was there, she created a digital business. She's a digital entrepreneur, and she created this really cool organization called Intentional Self Consulting. And I am really excited to have her come on so we can ask her all sorts of questions about that and what that
Yeah.
means. What do you
I
think?
want.
Shall we bring her in?
Oh yes, I want it because I really want to live a simple life more.
Yeah, I've been purging
Me
all
too.
week. Like purge, 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 organize, purge. And I still feel like my house is a cluttered disaster. So I need her today. And I can't wait to talk to her more. So let's
Yes.
bring her.
Let's bring her.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Hi.
Sue.
Okay, this is
There
better.
you are. That's better.
So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
So I know
Estelle.
you got questions, Gloria.
Estelle Poirier, right?
You can, in English, you can say poire.
Poirier. I like that.
Yes,
That's
that would work
beautiful.
out.
Poirier. Poirier.
How
Poire.
does it sound in French?
Poire.
Poirier.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like that even better.
yeah. That's the letter R. That's the
Poire.
letter. Exactly. That's the letter R that does everything.
Beautiful. Now, where
Estelle.
are you now? Where are
There you
you?
go.
I'm in Quebec City, Canada.
Cool.
Yeah,
How's the
absolutely.
weather?
It's quite nice. The last week and a half was a bit cold, and now it's a bit chilly, and now it's getting pretty hot. So I'm right on time for Hot Topics Live with two hot chicks.
Oh, so sweet. Oh my gosh.
So Estelle, why make you to go into a simple life?
I guess I was born and raised into a simple, simplified lifestyle household, and I guess both of my parents, especially my mother, but I mean both of my parents, but especially my mother, they really inspired me to simplify my lifestyle and to really think before purchasing something and really think before spending a dollar. Um, and making wiser choices. So basically, smart shopping, I would say. So even from a very young age, um, even as a young child, I remember I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and my mom would bring me to the grocery store with her. And I remember I was complaining, and she would always say, "Stop complaining, come with me. I need to show you how to shop." So that's how it all started.
Wow.
So when you say simple life, can you describe for people that don't know what is a simple life? Because simple life could be different in a different way for a different people.
Absolutely. So I would say simple life or simple living is the way that all the tools, all the things that we're doing daily on a regular basis to simplify our lifestyle. So simple living is really, yeah, like all these little tools, all these little things that we're doing on a daily basis to really simplify the way that we live. It can be, for example, instead of buying coffee all the time, it can be to make your own coffee. That's just one small, tiny example like that. Or focusing on different things. Focusing on things that really matter to us. So focusing on other people, or focusing on purchasing having the right amount of things in our lives, and really owning the right amount of things in our life.
So when you go for shopping, what is your mindset?
So first of all, actually, this is a course that I will be offering pretty soon. Actually, maybe it will be some sort of a 3-part video series. So there you go. I'm going to start today. So the first thing that I ask myself is, do I really need it? And by do I really need it is what are my essential needs? So I really try to focus on my essential needs. So do I really need it is the first question. And is this absolutely necessary to my life? And so if I really want it and I really need it, that brings me to the second question. If I really need it, really, really, really need it for me, not for everyone else, really for my own life, to make it better, to bring more value to my life. Then my second question is, what is the purpose of that item that I'm going to buy? Is this actually what's the use of that item that I'm about to purchase, and what am I going to do with it exactly? And actually, how often am I going to use it? Am I going to use it on a regular basis? Or maybe it's something that I'm going to be using on a seasonal basis, or something that actually maybe I'll use just once a year. So I'm thinking, can I maybe rent it or borrow it from somebody? And I'll give you an example. I made a video few months ago. It was some gum boots, some green gum boots. I mean, they're pretty ugly, let me tell you. But I've had those boots. I've had those boots for years, and so I always take the example with those boots. I bought them. Actually, do I really need them? Yes. Are they going to be essential to my life? Yes. That brings me to my second question with the why am I going to need them and use them? So I'm going to use them on a regular basis for actually every season. So if I'm in the snow, in deep snow, if I'm in the rain, if I'm in mud, and any weather circumstances, I'm going to use them for sure. Even in the summer, if I have to walk in water, why not? And so I'm going to use them absolutely for sure, and they will be useful for me. So the third question that I ask myself before purchasing something is, what is the price tag versus the quality? So I used to think that I needed to pay a lot of money, a significant amount of money in order to have quality. But actually, when I think about it over my lifetime so far, I found that sometimes I bought an awesome top quality jacket for $1. So it's something to think about.
Where you get that? Those
At
one
this
dollar.
at the secondhand store. At the secondhand store, they're absolutely wonderful. They're filled with gold. You never know what you will find. And sometimes I found stuff in the trash as well, which is really good.
I remember the coffee machine. Do you know that
Exactly.
story, Kia? The
Yeah, I
coffee
remember
machine.
that.
The
The
coffee
coffee
machine.
machine.
The coffee
And she
machine
threw it
from
in
the
the
trash.
garbage.
Exactly. So yeah, I like the example of these boots because at the time I paid quite a bit of money for these boots, but I still have them. So the price tag versus the quality is quite interesting. I paid a lot, but I got excellent quality. The opposite can be true as well. You could buy something for a very high price and get some pretty bad quality. So when I buy something, I'm always thinking, okay, I need to look at the quality, where it's from. So these boots, for instance, they were made in Holland, I believe. Anyways, I've had them for years, and they're excellent for all kinds of weather. And I could have got them as well for a different brand, maybe for a cheaper price, and they would have been just as good.
Right. And you know what? That mindset for a lot of women is very hard.
It's true. It's very true. It's very
because
true.
because society and us as a woman, we think that when you pay high price for something, it's because because it's more expensive, because it's very good. And sometimes it's not. That's not the true about it.
Absolutely.
It
Sometimes we exactly.
the price we put in our mind.
Absolutely. And we think that, oh, I'm going to buy this. But realistically, when we think about it, sometimes a lot of us, I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, oh, I'm going to buy this item that is very high price and top quality. Oh, that's because I want to maybe reward myself, but I also want to show people. I want to show people, hey, look what I got for myself. Look what I've been able to. So it's like a showcase. Oh, look what I've been capable of buying myself. Look at me. I got this very fancy whatever item that I bought. But sometimes it can also be very disappointing because we cannot afford it. Um, Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. It really depends. So yeah, you're right. It's really a thing of mindset.
So when I'm sorry, Kia, do you want to ask something?
I was, but you go ahead. I'll ask when you're done.
So when let's talk about home, the house. What exactly you have in your home? What do you think that we need to throw and we need to think?
So it's a very interesting question, and thank you for that. Actually, I really love, well, where I live, it's very simple. Um, it's simplified. It's simple, but it's simplified. I simplified my lifestyle. I reduced the amount of possessions. So basically, everything I own, I use. If I don't use it, it shouldn't be part of my life because it doesn't serve any purpose. And if it doesn't serve any purpose, I should be capable of letting it go. Otherwise, it doesn't bring any value to my life, and I'm not going to be using it properly to bring value outside of my environment. So I would say that, yeah, everything I own, I use. And sometimes I would say maybe once or twice a year, I have some stuff sometimes that I look at and I'm thinking, do I still use that? And sometimes I feel that, oh, does it spark joy? Like Marie Kondo says, which I think is really cute. It's really awesome what she says. But to me, does it spark joy? Everything sparks joy for me. Everything. So I could,
Me too.
if I'm being honest with myself, everything sparks joy. I love everything, and I could, in that thinking, in that mindset, I could buy a whole lot more things. So I go and I go into being more realistic and going into, why is it in the first place that I bought such and such item? So why is it? Is this because I was sad or I was pissed because my boss is a dipshit and I bought this item, and that really, and because I was upset at my boss and I bought this item. So everything has an emotional component as well. So I really try to keep things that I'm really going to be using on a regular basis and daily basis, if possible. If not, I'll make sure that I can rent an item from somebody, borrow from somebody, uh, and that way I'm keeping a level of joy in my environment and also inside of me.
Wow.
That's very interesting. So, how do you get to a point where you can just say you have a lot of things and you say that everything gives you joy? And I agree with that because I will not say everything, but I pretty much can find some sort of emotional attachment to everything in my house if I really sit down to think about it, right? And so right now I am in a process of purging, trying to create new energy, cleanse the space, right? So, what would be 3 tips that you would give me in order to assess what should go if I will find an attachment or a reason to keep everything or almost
Okay.
everything?
So that would be in a way, a bit of a long process because you could go through every single item, your clothes, your everything in your kitchen. I would go from one room to another,
That's
and
what
to
I'm doing.
really, okay, and that's perfect. That's really great because one room at a time. Otherwise, if you try, let's say, to do your whole house in one day, it's oh my goodness,
It's
that's
too much.
it's too
I will
much.
quit
Exactly.
immediately, like within like 2 hours. I will quit. I know because I started that way. I'm like a little bit in this room, a little bit in that room. Every room got a mess. I got overwhelmed, and I'm like, we're gonna try this again next week and form a new plan.
Exactly. So one room at a time, and really to look at, um, first of all, just like the things I was telling you guys about how to buy something can also be applied to when you're trying to declutter actually. So you declutter, you clean, and you organize. So in your case, yeah, you declutter, you clean, you organize. So by decluttering, you're actually looking at every single item. Am I actually using it right now? Am I going to use it on a regular basis? Am I going to use it on a daily basis? And then, do I really need this particular sweater in my life? What's the quality of that? What's the price tag versus the quality that I paid? Is this really something that is going to help me out to bring? Is this going to bring value to my life? And am I going to be able to express myself, offering value to others a lot more with that item? And it it makes me think. I was watching what's his name, Grant Cardone, one of his training one time. I think it was a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. And he said, "Look at your closet and look at all the old ideas. that are in your closet. So
Wow,
it's
that's
it's 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 incredible the way you said it. It summarizes so well. Look at all the old ideas. So by looking at all the pieces of clothing, for example, because we're girls, right? We love clothing. So by looking at all these
I
all
have a
these
problem
pieces
there.
exactly, and taking your time and kind of, even if you have I really like to sit down in my closet and look at every piece of clothing that I have, and I ask myself, is this really something that is going is do I really need this? Honestly, do I need 5 shirts that are the same model, the same, even different colors? Am I really needing this? Is this bringing me to is this bringing me to create more value in the world? So for clothings, for cutlery, for anything in the house, because I I tell myself all the time, when I saw my father when he passed away, he was in a small bag about about this big. Whoops, about this big, and I thought, wow, we got rid of so much clothing. Do you think that really he was wearing all these clothings? I don't think so. So it's the same with all these forks and all these knives that we have in our kitchen. Most of them we don't use them. So it's the focus on what are these particular quality items that can last longer, that I can make last, that will last longer than the other ones. That's
Mhm.
another, yes.
So I want to point out. So hi, Rhonda. It's my girl, Rhonda. Thank you for watching. She says while she was selling her house, it took her a year or to release
Wow,
17 years of accumulation from
Oh
her and her
my
sons.
absolutely.
God. I can
Wow.
imagine
Yeah.
And she
that.
misses some of it. Oh, you know what? So in my massive purge that I've been doing, I've been getting rid of a lot of clothing items that I loved. And it's actually oddly harder than I thought. And I'm talking about clothes that don't fit me anymore. Okay. But it's like, the old ideas thing where you're like, these represent old ideas. Well, that's who I was at the time when I bought it. It's like part of my old personality, my old look.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it's almost history. So it's like, but you don't need it. You don't need it anymore. It doesn't fit. It's too big or too small or whatever. And so I was like, I'm gonna get rid of it. And it actually was really freeing to see all the space that I was creating in my closet by getting, I'm still not done. I still have like one more to go through. And I'm like, have these 2 massive bags to donate to Goodwill. But I'm like feeling like, so you're talking about what value is it bringing me? So right now I'm feeling like the value is giving these things, some of them with a tag still on it, to be honest,
Wow.
that I bought it and then maybe lost weight. It was like the last thing I bought right before I lost a bunch of weight, and then I went to put it on and it just didn't look good. It, you know what I mean? So
Right.
so then I just had to decide, oh well, I loved this. I'm so sad. I never even got to wear it. What a waste of money.
Oh, yes.
But and instead of being sad about it, I thought of it of the perspective of, well, whoever's meant to have this new piece of clothes that maybe couldn't afford this, or who is in need, or who's maybe just really thrifty and they will have a really good find right now because I'm going to donate it. And so that for me is another way to add value, so that when you realize you don't need things anymore, you can add value to the world, to the community, by donating it so that it can be repurposed. Love
Absolutely.
you, Rhonda.
I also purge my house a lot of times, very often. And in the kitchen, I have everything under control because I have 8 plates, eight cups, everything by 8 because we are 4. So if I have people coming over, I already have a little bit. So everything's 8. Before I have like a 16, 17, like a lot of cups. I say nobody comes here. Even like a wine cups. I said I don't drink wine. Nobody drinks wine here. So I start purging the kitchen. So I have the kitchen under control. The 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 bathrooms is something that you need to purge all the time because the medications and stuff expire and you don't notice, and then you have bottles and bottles and bottles of things there, and they have, you see it 2017, 2018, 2019, you have clutter there. Where I have the problem is in my closet, and I already purged a lot last year, but I have a compulsive problem that I would say I put in my mind. I'm a collector of, I collect dresses. So I said I'm a collector of dresses.
I like that. I'm sorry. I like that you say you're a collector.
So I don't, I have that problem because I love, like, I don't spend money in other stuff, but I spend money in dresses. And it's like being forever that problem, dresses and dresses and dresses. And I said to myself, no, I need to minimize this, spending so much in dresses. But I go in the internet and I saw a dress, and oh my God, that dress, oh my, and I just dreamed for that dress for 3 days. And I said, "Ah, what the heck, I'm gonna buy it."
I'm the same. I will get a dress or I like blouses, right? This is my thing. Somebody calls me princess every day, so now I love blouses. So I have been buying blouses recently, and the last time I bought a blouse, I loved it so much. I brought it in 3 colors, the same blouse in 3 colors. And after it showed up, I was like, not that I'm unhappy. Believe me, I'm not unhappy. But I thought to myself, to be honest, like, did I really need 3 colors of the same blouse? But on the other hand, I'm like, well, you know what? I really like this blouse. So I know that I'm going to wear them, all 3 of them, a lot. So it's hard. So how do you, Estelle, like, sort of find the line in between there of justifying
Yes.
it to yourself that, you know what I mean, what you should do, and also try to remain simple. So do you think I should balance that by getting rid of more blouses?
Or you should be a collector.
Well, I'm going to answer. That's a very good question. Actually, I'm going to answer a question by saying that myself, I love to collect mason jars. A lot,
Wow.
a lot.
I like them too.
So I put a lot of things in mason jars. About half of them I use, to be perfectly honest. So back to your shirt thing. It was just a little, in French, we say une parenthèse. I don't remember the word in in English. I don't remember. I'm sorry. back to your shirts. If you're going to use, if you're really happy, you bought them and they bring, and they bring value to your life, and they're a good quality, especially if they're good quality. I mean, remember, guys, those 3 things. Are you really do you really need it? Can you live without it? And the second thing, what's going to be the use of it? And are you going to use it on a regular basis or a daily basis? Or could you borrow it from somebody or rent it from somebody? And then what's the price tag versus the quality? These 3 things are absolutely critical. The last one, that the price tag versus the quality. So if the quality is of these blouses is excellent, and you're going to take care of it, that's another component that's very important. How you're going to cherish these objects, these blouses that you bought. Are you going to take really good care of them, or you're just not really going to care too much about them? Or, for example, you wash them, you put them in the dryer, and then 6 months later they're in terrible condition. So that's another thing. That's another thing to think about. Always the
Yes.
quality. I mean, you could have been to, I give you an example. You could have been to a secondhand store. You buy these blouses, $2 each, and 15 years later you still have them.
Mhm.
It's really, when you buy something, when you have something, it would always be, regardless of the quantity, because everybody's different. Maybe I will have 5 blouses and I will be very happy with that. Maybe Gloria, you'll have 2 blouses, you'll be super happy with that. Maybe Yukia, you'll have 20 blouses and it makes you happy. It makes you happy. They're good quality, and you are going to use them. You're going to wear them on a regular basis. Every single one of them, not just, oh, one or two, maybe I'll wear them and the other ones I'm not going to wear them, but I will keep them in my closet. So they will be staying there like old ideas, like Grant
Right.
Cardone would say. So yeah, that's something to think about. The price tag, the quality, and the use, the regular use. That's one that sometimes we get. Well, actually, often we think, oh yeah, this is wonderful. I'm going to wear this often, and no, we just don't. It's just like a trophy. We look at it and it's so beautiful, but we're just not wearing it, and
Mhm.
it's
You know, Estelle, there's something also that happens to a lot of women, because I talk about this with other women, that when you buy a dress or whatever clothing and you love it and you put it and you look amazing, you love it. But at the second time you wear it, you don't like it anymore. Why is that happen?
That's a good question. Actually, I think there's in everything in our life there's an emotional component. So you'll buy something and you'll feel great because at the very moment, and I talk by experience. It happened to me many times in the past. Even though I've always I was born and raised uh, in a simplified lifestyle household. I got myself many times I would buy something and I'm like, oh man, do I look super hot in that? And and it just I feel great, absolutely. And I wear it another time, and it just doesn't fit anymore. So it feels like that one time I needed to convince myself that I was worth it. I needed to convince myself that I wasn't sad, that I wasn't angry, that I wasn't nothing was going wrong in my life, that everything was going well. But actually, I was kind of lying to myself. And then by wearing that, I feel, oh, my self confidence. Oh, I feel great, and oh, others will like me. Others will that will boost my self esteem when others see me. But the time after, I would wear it, and oh, total disaster. I feel so bad, and that brings me to think, oh, why did I buy this? I bought this in a sad emotional state, in a angry emotional state, and I end up being very unsatisfied.
Hmm. That's really interesting. So tell me, and if if this is something that interests you too, Gloria, I'm curious. Tell me, what is the emotional connection that you're talking about with these purchases? Because I've talked to some of my friends and I had this issue when I was much younger, actually played a huge part in the end of my first marriage. And that was, I became sort of like a shopaholic. Now, I know for me, the emotional attachment to shopping was because there was a void that was not being fulfilled. I was unhappy, but I was unwilling to recognize that, because we're all conditioned to believe that, marriage is supposed to last forever and you're with that person. So when the marriage wasn't working, instead of facing that emotion, I poured all my energy into shopping to fulfill that unhappiness. Now, do you think that that's a common thing that happens with people? What is your take on the emotional attachment to shopping?
I'll give you an example. A while back ago, I guess it was not too long ago. It was last year. So I was in this job, this low paying job, but high stress paying job. I was very unhappy. And one evening after work, I was very angry. I was sad, but I was especially very angry. A lot of our sadness is hides a lot of anger. So after work, I mean, I worked later, and then I got off work, and I thought, actually, I did not even think. I went straight to a store, a really cool store here
That's
in Quebec.
dangerous.
Absolutely, you're right. And I was hungry as well. So I went to a store and I was very sad. I was very angry, but I knew I was sad and angry, especially angry, but I wasn't capable of recognizing it. I was sort of hiding. I was betraying myself. We betray ourselves
Mm.
so much because we disconnect ourselves all the time from our true selves. And so I bought these clothes. I did not try the clothes. They were obviously very beautiful clothes that probably I would have wore, but I never did. And I did not try the clothes, and they were not my size. They were at least 2 or 3 size too small. Can you imagine? And so I bought those and I thought, oh, this is, you see, this is, oh yeah, this is going to make me feel so great. And because my job is pretty shitty and my boss is a dip, and I need to feel better with myself. I mean, now I'm an outsider. I can look at that, and I knew I was super sad and angry. And I went on and I bought some other things that obviously I was never going to use. Then I went to a restaurant and I bought some takeout food, which I ate in 5 minutes. So I never ended up tasting my food and fully enjoying it. So I put money in the trash for clothes that I was never going to wear, which I never wore these clothes, never. And I paid for food, which I usually really enjoy, that specific food, Lebanese food, so delicious.
Yes.
And
Delicious.
and so I paid a fair amount of money for a meal, which I never really tasted, and I never really enjoyed it because I was kind of eating my emotions. My anger was going into the the fork, and then I also went to a grocery store and I bought some booze. I bought 2 ciders, which is cider that I usually really like. It's apple cider that they make here in Quebec. We have very good quality cider, and so I drank these two ciders actually very quickly, and I never tasted the ciders. Therefore, I never enjoyed the ciders, and I ended up going to bed actually very sad, more angry, but obviously incapable of recognizing it and allowing myself to feel that way because, oh, I should be zen and I should be pretty cool with everything in my life. And so I went to bed and I was actually a little bit, I was also a little bit drunk. So
Estelle,
you see what the
You're
pattern
a
is.
bad girl.
you
I
are
know.
naughty.
Mm-mm,
You are so
mm-mm.
naughty.
Yeah.
So imagine all the emotions, what they make us to do unconscious.
Absolutely. And the thing is that the beautiful thing is for everything in life, we have all the answers inside of us. And we tend to disconnect ourselves so much daily to not feel anything that it's like we try to make ourselves believe, oh, everything's going to be fine. Just put it behind you. Stop thinking about it. Move on. It's all going to be fine. Just be zen. Just to fit in. And so we go on buying things that actually we know deep inside of us. It's like we're filling our trash bag with all kinds of sadness and anger, and we just sort of take it and push it down one more time. So we go to the store and we buy this, buy that.
And what about when you go to the store that everything is so cheap and it and discount and people start like, oh, $5 is nothing. Oh, 10, oh, this is so cheap. Oh, and buy and buy and buy. And at the end of the day, you bringing home a lot of trash and you spend a lot of money and the little stupid things. $5, $3, $5, $3.
That's very interesting. That's a excellent question, because yesterday I was reading a book review on Amazon, and it was about choices and decision. So in our life nowadays, we live in an ocean of choices. There are so many choices, whether it's secondhand or it's brand new, or even if it's free. Let's say you find it on the side of the street or whatever. Um, we need to make the decisions. We have the possibility to make the decisions for ourselves, by ourselves, to bring value to ourselves. So regardless if it's something that is brand new, regardless if it costs $2 or $5, I have the choice to be influenced by that or to not be influenced by that. So it's really to sort of go back to ourselves deep inside. Is this going to bring me value, or am I buying this because I'm sad, or I'm angry? Is this something that I actually need and I'm really going to use it on a regular basis? And also the quality. I really like the quality concept. What is the quality of that item? Sometimes when you look at an item and you just kind of, if it's going to break in 5 minutes or if it's going to last you for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would
Yeah.
say.
I tell you what, I just bought some workout gear, and they're these, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're these anti-cellulite workout pants. Love that. Just a little help. We all need it from time to time. Anyway, so I got these pants and they looked really good, but when I took them out of the package, but when I touched them, because of course I ordered them online, I touched them, and also I really needed workout gear. So it wasn't like a it wasn't like oh, I just want more. It was like I need new workout gear. I'm throwing all of these out. They're too big. So I touched it, and the minute I touched it, I was like, oh no. Oh no. They were not super expensive. No. But it comes back to the quality. The quality was match the price. Maybe not even match the price, because I thought, wow, these are great for such a great price. You know what I mean? And they looked good. But when I touched them, I knew immediately by the fabric that they were not going to be quality. And I will tell you one thing, I put those things on. Not only did they not help, they ripped when in one wear. Before I even took them off, that by the end of my workout, they had a hole. And I was like, what? And I was like, that was a complete waste of money. And of course I wrote and I complained and all of that stuff, but it's like kind of like what you were saying. And there's another point that you're making that I really love. So, I'm a big proponent of assessing your needs and doing real-time needs assessments in almost any given situation. So you have, for example, if you have a relationship and something happens, you can think to yourself in that moment, what do I need to happen right now? How I need for it to feel? You know what I mean? What would I have needed for this person to say or do in order for me to just feel okay? So like these needs assessments, the same thing is what you're talking about with shopping. And it's really a needs assessment of saying, what is the quality here? Do I really need this? Is this an emotional buy for me? And just taking a moment to be present, which is something we talk about a lot on this program, is being present in that moment of when you're actually making that purchase and saying, okay, do I need this? What am I feeling right now? Is this an emotional buy? Is this something that I truly need? Am I going to use it? What is the value? And so you're doing this assessment right there in real time before you make that purchase that could save you from wasting money down the line. So I love that you're bringing that up.
Thank
I know
you.
exactly where my problem comes from, my dresses collection. It comes from when I was like a maybe 7 years old, that my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother gave me like a 2 boxes of dresses, and I put it in the closet, and then she bring like maybe her niece from another family, and then she bring the niece and open my closet, same age as me. Oh, here are the dresses, get anything you want. And I look my grandmother like what? why she's gonna get my dresses? And I saw her like wear my dresses, and from there I hate it. And I've been all my life dresses and dresses and dresses and dresses.
Oh, you're like, I'm gonna replace those dresses that little girl took out of my dresses. No, I understand you, girl. That sounds like a childhood trauma in a way, because
Yes,
you that happens, like traumas happen all the time when you're little. It could be something really, really simple. You never know how it's gonna affect a child. So it sounds like that's the root, girl.
that's the root. I know. And when Estelle was talking, and I said I'm confirming more and more about the dress problem. I have a dress problem. So I said I have a collection.
You know what though? I think sometimes, like Estelle has her mason jars, right? Like sometimes it does feel good. It does give you like a real genuine joy to have one thing. That when I was younger, I used to collect Barbies. You know what I mean? Like, and I had so many Barbies at one point. Like,
Mm.
and then I got older and I got past that, and then I donated them, and it gave some other little girls or little girl a bunch of Barbies, to enjoy. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes you can give yourself something as long as you don't let it get out of control, right, Estelle?
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for me, really, it's and I look at my apartment, and I'm always thinking, okay, what else can I take out of this? What else can I take out of this place? Because there's always something. In my case, I think there's always something that I might not be exactly using, or that I'm collecting, that is taking room, that could be used for new ideas and new projects, actually.
You know what I did just recently? I removed all the art and pictures on the walls at all my house, and I keep it like down for 2 weeks and see how it feels. And it feels like different. It feels like, oh, now I'm gonna choose the really pictures I really want, and I put it, and I did it, and I have only 3 pictures around my house, and it looks like more peaceful, more declutter. I feel like more in peace. And it's a lot of people don't know this, but this is when you have some issues like the compulsive buying is always related to a trauma, but you have to know where that trauma come from.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, mine was because I was unhappy. So for me, every time I bought something, and like you, Estelle, some of the things I bought were like too small. And I was like, but it's cute. I could just lose a few pounds. Much easier to do when you're younger. But anyway, that's what it was like. I would buy, just things to fill that void in my life.
Absolutely.
So
And
how often we need to purge, how often we need to assess.
I would say you'll feel it. You'll feel it emotionally. You'll go into your kitchen, and it will feel very heavy. And you
Heavy.
open your and yeah, exactly. And you open your drawer, and it feels like an emptiness inside of you. It feels heavy. It feels sad. It feels angry, because you're searching for something, and you can't find nothing, because there's no room. It's cluttered. It's cluttered everywhere. So it's like yourself. You're cluttered emotionally, and then it's necessary to declutter yourself emotionally, and then your environment.
They
That's
al-
another. Here's another 3-part video series.
they
That's
also
the
It's
next one.
coming. Yeah,
they also say that the way you handle your clutter in your house, that's the way you handle your finances.
absolutely,
Really?
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I could agree with that. You know why I could agree with that? Because back in the day, when I call it my shopping addiction phase, which was like, um, so I'm going to tell you guys a secret, but like not a lot of people know this about me. So I'm going
That's
to
not
tell
a
you.
secret anymore.
I'm going to tell you. When I was younger, I had eating disorders. And so when I got older and I started to manage those in a better way, I substituted the problems with eating with food with shopping. So so I was like either an emotional eater or starvation or binger or something like that. So that has ties in a lot with emotions, right? And so I shifted that to shopping once I had, so it was like, some people will quit alcohol, or quit cigarettes, but they'll start drinking more, or quit drinking and start smoking more cigarettes or something. Like, it was kind of like along those lines. And so at the same time as that was going on, I was overspending, right? So I was
Mhm.
always mismanaging my balance sheet because I was had this shopping addiction, right? But really the root of it was an emotional problem. So once I was able to realize that and conquer the emotional problem, which part of that resulted in me getting a divorce, then I was able to leave the eating disorder issue pretty much behind for the most part, and as well as the shopping addiction, and also improve my finances drastically. So I see how it all relates. It's a very good point.
Absolutely. Yeah, the emotions, it's, how could I say? I mean, what you say is so true, like 100%, so true. Um, Nowadays, I don't know what you guys think, but nowadays, we tell kids, we tell adults, everybody, it's so much cooler to be zen and to be put everything behind you. And I say that because a therapist told me that in the past.
That's
And I paid
toxic positivity.
exactly. And I remember giving her a lot of money for each session, right? It was almost $200. And at some point she said, okay, you need to stop. You put everything behind you, and you stop thinking about this, and you focus on your beautiful future. And I thought, well, I'm all screwed up, how am I going how am I supposed to do this, I don't have a clue. So I guess I stopped seeing her. And
Yeah, I wonder why.
exactly. And it's, yeah, the emotions, it's always trying to hide. We're always trying to hide. Oh yeah, we're gonna just put it behind you. Just don't think about this. Just relax and take it easy and be cool and calm down. It's gonna pass. No, it doesn't pass. It doesn't.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
don't deal with this, it doesn't.
Right.
And
You
you
have to
know
work
it. We
through it.
all exactly. We all know it. We carry it we carry loads an emotional load every single day, and it's perfectly normal to allow ourselves to feel and to express. And
So, Estelle, when somebody comes to your program, what is the first thing you ask, or to understand a little bit the person, to help to have a simple life?
how are you feeling today? Absolutely. I want to know how the person is feeling, because it's going to be related to the consumption habits. It's going to be related to problems with debt, consumer debt. How are you feeling today? What's going on in your life? It's the kind of to see a little bit of a background of what's going on in a person's life, and since when he or she started to overspend or being in debt, or yeah, and clutter his or her life. uh, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling frustrated?
And from there, you just start like understanding that person and guide the person, follow with the person journey to help to get to the goal that you want them to get, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's to ask the right questions so that they can find their own answers. So it's to accompany people to find find their own answers, because in the end, it's to regain their autonomy, their happiness, to regain their strength, so that they can really create their authentic lifestyle, their simplified lifestyle, but especially authentic lifestyle. That is suited for them. That's really not suited for me or anyone else. It's to really to go at the root and really go back to authenticity. And what is it that you want? What is it that you want to create? How do you want to live? For you, by yourself, you decide that for you. I'm going to be there beside you, to not to guide you, not to help you, but to ask you the proper questions. I'm going to accompany you, and trigger some thinking.
That's beautiful.
That's
So, you
awesome.
guys, oh, I just lost track of time and we are at 59 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. But before we do, Estelle, will you please tell us everywhere we can find you and what we do if we want to consult with you?
Absolutely. So I can be found on Facebook. I have my profile, Estelle Poiré, and I also have my Facebook page. And you can find me also on Instagram. I have a really cool name on Instagram. Yes, Oreo underscore Estelle. And I'll tell you quickly the Oreo where it comes from, because at first when I started my profile, it was Oreo Estelle life as an ice cream sandwich. Oh, that's another crazy story.
We should have told us that one. I want to know that.
The ice cream sandwich.
The ice
Yeah,
cream
because
sandwich.
it's one of those crazy things. I don't think there must be something in here, maybe a boat that is a bit loose. But I've always wanted to do an ice cream sandwich with two super chubby black guys, and I would be the super white chick in the middle, and they would hug me, and that would be like an ice cream sandwich. I know. Everybody, everybody's got the same reaction, but this is true. This is true. This is going to happen, guys. And I'm going to make a video. I'm looking for super hot black dudes, 400 pounds. I knew it. That's where that's where it comes from.
This is Hot Topics.
I told ya.
Okay, I'm crying. It's my favorite thing to laugh till I cry. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
My
Estelle.
pleasure. You've got some pretty good mascara. It doesn't leak, eh?
It's coming. It's coming very soon.
I want to see that sandwich.
You will.
If anyone can help Estelle make her dream come true,
Yeah.
please send us a message to Hot Topics.
Yeah.
email box.
They need to be in Quebec.
And you have to be
Oh
in
yes,
Quebec.
but
She'll
I will
post the
travel.
pictures on Instagram.
I will travel. I will travel to meet them.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Stay safe. That's dangerous, girl. I really want to thank you for that. And
My pleasure.
for coming on Hot Topics.
This is a cool show.
Gloria.
Estelle, we need to bring you back again and talk
Anytime.
about the Oreo sandwich, man.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Oh my God. I really
Okay,
did not expect that.
No, most people don't.
All right. So, Estelle, we're going to have a lot more conversations after this.
You betcha.
So, and now here comes my makeup running. Okay. So, thank you so much for being a guest, Estelle.
My pleasure.
We're gonna
Thank
put
you so much.
It was awesome.
Thank you for
We're going to put you in the green room and we're going to wrap up the show. Wait for us there and we'll chat a little bit more before we have to part ways today. Okay.
you betcha.
Thank you so much. You guys follow Estelle on Instagram at Oreo Estelle. She's awesome. She'll help you simplify your life and make good shopping choices and check in with your emotions and all of that good stuff. So we love her and hopefully she'll come and see us again on Hot Topics. So yeah.
Oui. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, girl.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
So, Tendai, man, you can't turn away. You never know what is going to happen on Hot Topics. I will tell you what. And I was so busy laughing, I missed so many comments from Tendai. He has a lot of comments here. I'm going to run them through really quickly. So, anyways, that was unexpected, was it not, Gloria?
Yeah, it was very cool. It was hot. Hot topic.
Now you know how I feel when you say things. She just Gloria Goldberg you.
Yeah.
Now you know how I feel because I never know what's going to come out of your mouth. That's just what happened with Estelle a minute ago. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
you have no idea.
Tendai says he sucks at multitasking. Look at that. Honey, me too. I got a one game at a time. One game at a time. Just
Yeah.
finish that one and then move on. Are you at work, honey? Is that what it is? We'll have to tell us your work schedule so we can we can try to work. When we started this Wednesday show, nobody was at work. So
Right.
we
Everybody's
just
at
keep doing
home.
it because our guests like coming on Wednesdays. So we keep doing it. So you can watch the replay, but it won't be the same without your comments. And so we're on YouTube now, you guys too.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it.
You have to watch it.
If we tell you, if we
It
tell
won't
you,
be
we
as
spoil
funny.
it.
It won't be as funny if we tell you. You had
Right.
to hear it come from Estelle after watching her that whole time to this interview. Anyway, so we're on YouTube now, you guys. Our website is almost done. So we will then be streaming to our website as well. And as always, you know what to do. You can follow us on Instagram on at Hot Topics the podcast. Yes. And there it is. It's going by there. And so if you want to know how to follow us on Instagram and all of our social media, I am going to start putting it up on the screen. What do you think, Gloria?
Of course.
So I'm Kia Baker. I'm the host of the Female Veterans Podcast. And of course, the new show, Women Warrior Stories. And you can catch that on the Veterans Channel. It is a new network, but you can see things now at theveteranschannel.com. It's got lots of shows for veterans, and you can see it there. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, like I said before, at Hot Topics the Podcast. You can also follow us, our personal accounts. Gloria, you want to tell them about that?
Of course. Well, my name is Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, where I talk about depression, anxiety, and PTSD a natural way, realistic way to make you feel better. And also have my Instagram is Gloria Gold 1111, where I post daily and stories and things that I see. Sometimes I'm emotional, sometimes I appear, disappears like everybody else. So that's just me. And we have a great show today, Kia. I love it.
It's great. Wait, I gotta put this one last comment up by Tendai. He's so good. He's such a fun part of the show. But he suggests that we schedule the program around his work time because he's our biggest
Oh,
fan. You know what? We're
okay.
gonna talk about that. We're gonna consider
Yeah,
we make no promises, but we'll do our best
right,
to give you a workaround on Wednesdays. But you know, we expect to see you on Thursday nights then, right?
right.
And Saturdays when we do our special episode with
And
our
if you come
squad.
on time, if you wanna one day we're gonna bring you in just by
That's right.
surprise.
You never know. If we don't have a guest, you could be the guest.
Yeah. And
So if you're
we're gonna
willing,
interrogate you up and down.
we're going to get your views on a lot of things. And actually, you said something earlier that I really loved, and I want to post it before we go. So, because I think I missed this one earlier because we were in the big part of the conversation, but I love that he said this. About growing up in Zimbabwe and feeling like basic human rights should be at the forefront in the greatest country in the world. And
Yes,
I'm gonna say that I had to post that one because I thought it was a beautiful
yes,
statement.
I love that.
And yeah, I think that's a given. I think
So
that's a
Kia,
given.
tomorrow we're gonna have a very cool show.
Tell me who's coming.
Tomorrow coming is Ana Monroy. She's from Mexico. She's bilingual.
Ooh,
And
ooh,
she also have a program where she talks about mujer, ser, what is the name of her thing? Let me, because I get confused. Ser cabrona está de moda. That is in the Spanish version. But tomorrow
ooh.
she's gonna come and talk in English because she talks about sacred sexuality
That's interesting.
how things you can do about cultivating your body, cultivating your sexual energy, and also there's coming up an eclipse. So she's also gonna
Ooh.
tell us what we should do for that eclipse coming up, what is opening, what we need to do, and it's gonna be fun, 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 fun.
Amazing. I can't wait because you know what? I'm always talking about energy transfer and sacred sex and all of that stuff. The only concern is that Facebook keeps thinking that we're porn because we keep having all these kind of guests. I guess we're not porn,
We don't
Facebook.
even show a titty. We don't even show a
Oh my God. No.
Just to say, like,
We've been in Facebook jail for a long time. Our European viewers must be like, where are they? Anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, we love you guys, and thanks for sharing an hour with us and hanging out with us this afternoon. And all of the people who may have seen this on YouTube pop up as we multicasted this again. So we'll see how our YouTube channel is turning out with very little effort that we're putting into it. But if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, press like, share it, leave us some feedback. Give us some topics that we can find podcasters and entrepreneurs to come and speak about and that you're interested in. And we'd love to hear from you.
We would love to collaborate with anyone who wants to come and talk with us.
Yeah. If you've got something good and of value to offer, we're all about that. So.
Yeah.
Well, shall we wrap it up, my dear?
Yes, we should wrap it up. All right, guys.
And I guess with that, we're going to say bye.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow. Don't miss that one.